Hello, good people of OSL. We are back at it again and we are closing in on week 3. It is a 2-series Sunday. You all know the drill. Let's check our schedule. XSIDE versus Peony Dynasty happening here at 6 p.m. Set 1, Clown on Wrecker's Yard. Set 2, Spirit on Wrecker's Yard, and a tiebreaker of Oni on the Cold Tower 1. The winner of this series will meet Longbottom in the semifinals, while the loser of this series will meet whoever wins out of Gospel. And the next series in our losers bracket, it can only be one of 2 teams to face Gospel next week, either Kaido Kids or Celestial. Happening tonight here at 7:30 p.m. AEST. Set 1, Dark Lord on Wretched Shop. Set 2, Wraith on Dead Dog Saloon, and a tiebreaker of Artist on Azerov's Resting Place. I've been casting with you a lot this weekend, Peaches, and I've enjoyed every second of it. Care to elaborate on the sets we have in front of us?
Absolutely. When I saw the picks and bans and saw that Clown was picked, I was not surprised at all whatsoever, as we saw Gestrix have a phenomenal showcasing of their Clown set against Long in the group stage result, and they did extremely well. They had unfortunate RNG that kind of, I think, allowed them to lose that set. But so far, getting a very fast injury onto X1, getting another injury onto Mr. Kans, trying to protect X1, trying to get them over to Shaq, which they do successfully, dropping the Shaq, going straight into the fire right away before you can get our introductions in here. This is what we like to see starting off our evening today, but it looks like we kind of actually completely lost both of those survivors. Oh no, they are back hot on the trail of X1. Can they make it to anything else? They are able to make it over to the top mid area, dropping the pallet immediately. They are going to get a little bit of the purple bottle onto them. Can we win this 50? We are able to win the 50. We are kind of getting a little bit zoned toward 12 a little bit. Can we make it to 11? No, we do actually have these Sin cars that we can work with, dropping the purple bottle. Can we get the haste? Can we get the M1 here, winning at 50? Can we win a second one, win number 2? But we do not win number 3, and Mr. Cans will be going down in deep 12 area, and we see a reset happening in the background. Always Gen just about hitting 50%. This is a pretty darn good start for Gestrix, and plus we have this painters right here, right in the top 12, I guess like around the 12 area, which will immediately get rid of a lot of that generator progress on Always Gen. And that is the most progress gen. So yeah, the Stars definitely need to pull it back just a little bit more. They really need to get more gen pressure on the map here for these chases, although that chase did come in pretty darn quick. And we were able to track down where X1 is at. I didn't even hear the footsteps. They have a lot better of a headset than I do. We get the first hit onto X1. We throwing the ball down. We throwing the yellow. Can we go for the purple? They're not going for the purple. Yellow and get the vault over because of that haste, and that will allow X1 to get away from Gestrix a little bit. Are we going to continue our chase onto X1? No, we will probably go for Mr. Cans. Try to turn this to a 3v1 ASAP, because Clown, that's what you want to do. You want to get us to the 3v1 ASAP as fast as possible. Get ready to go and keep as many gens on the board alive for your team, of course, making the best win con possible. But it looks like we're not quite sure where they're at. I think we are tracking them down toward 4. If they are able to hide Mr. Cans from Gestrix, that would be pretty huge for Peony Dynasty. Hiding that tunnel out, keeping it a 4v1 as long as possible, definitely will help gain a lot of gen pressure on the map with 4 people here. But yeah, actually, yeah, I don't think we have any eyes on Mr. Cans at all whatsoever. Mr. Streamer, man, if we can look around to see where Mr. Cans is at, they are being reset somewhere around the edge map. Gestrix, yeah, absolutely lost them. That is actually an extremely huge play, especially when that down did come in extremely early on. So although the Gestrix had a lot of great early pressure in this match, so far Peony Dynasty has really brought this back, Hunter.
They've reset the match, but we have caught the survivor just healing our tunnel out. No, winning that 50 is egregious. And now Gestrix still trying to play around. It does use the purple bottle, but it does not really do us too much, as we do win another 50 around the tires, and I think we might even be able to break away from this section entirely. So it's mighty unfortunate stuff from Gestrix. It probably should have resulted in a down. We got a little bit too hesitant, a little bit too preemptive on the swings there too. So eventually Central will be just going down into the deep pocket of the bottom side of the map. Well, we take this puck here, nice laid out for us. Look, Clown is a ferocious killer, and he can, despite obviously being in B tier and, you know, around that tier 3 to 4 section, he's a killer that can quickly snowball, and he's a fast one too. To some degree, he's a movement killer if you're just using the yellow bottles. I gotta stop calling them the other thing, but the B bottles. Yeah, but you know, they come in dangerous, and that's what you were seeing a little bit earlier on in the trial. We're able to get 2 tags in quick succession, very, very quickly, one after the damn next, and the game has been put to a halt just a little bit as we did get our resets in. We popped 2 generators as a result of a fairly good chase over at bottom as well, being able to make something out of a whole lot of nothing. But we do manage to see X1 here
Whoa.
taking the next chase. The pallet does go down. It does stun our killer, but we get hit straight through it, and Geztrix might even just opt to leave this. But if he can manage to zone, he can commit around this section of the truck here as we do go back into the slowness of the purple bottles. We are trying to bait out a pallet drop, and we do so successfully. A little bit delayed there, but it did happen anyway. And playing around the mind games, this dumpster filler can prove to be pretty difficult with that extra 15% haste going on in the backgrounds, and we're winning all kinds of 50s though. It just proves how safe this tile can really be, and despite you know, the fact that it can become quite unsafe as we do win that 50 once over. X1 continuing on the chase back towards the 3 section of the map, utilizes the truck to break the line of sight, and is going to be playing his 50s at the window. Does vault it though, and he has ran into a whole lot of nothing as he only has the edge map to be working with. Praying for a pallet, nothing quite there. Waved me down, and that will be our 3rd stage of the match. No tunnel out at the moment. Losing the tunnel out for Geztrix very early on in the match was it proved to be pretty detrimental here on out, as we do get another gen pop in the background there. I'm not too sure if we have one a little bit more progressed. The HUD isn't showing it, but we're getting our rotations and seeing where everybody is on the map. And this is our ace slamming over at Pistons 30%. And 2 of our survivors prepping up for that save. One going to be taking chase, and the other one going to be getting the unhook where they see fit. Peaches.
Absolutely, and Mr. Kane's not quite able to stealth out Geztrix after kicking the gen with Eruption. We really do have to get some sort of tunnel out right now, because the survivors have done a fantastic job of putting on that pressure onto the generators. And yeah, like you were saying, Geztrix has been doing a great job of getting those quick downs in quick succession. And we're going to see, I think this is another Painters, if I'm not mistaken, or we'll just go for this one at 12. But we are going to see the unhook onto X1, see the reset as well through the sloppy butcher. And yeah, like you said, Ace's Sentry is working away at 3rd generator. So we are going to be having, we're going to see for sure the 4K1 and going into this 3 gen that is not the tightest 3 gen that we've seen, but is definitely something that Geztrix can hold, especially as the clown with the speed bottles and of course the little hindrance bottles that can definitely make loops very weak. So taking the chase onto OA. Oh, using that hit from the bottles and also the life to help them avoid that M1. Not quite yet getting the injury onto them and avoiding that. So Geztrix, I think, is just gonna be happy with camping Mr. Cans to death, and at least make it extremely difficult for the survivors to get the unhook and spread a lot of the injuries, get the Sophie Butcher run up and going and good to go. We did see that 4th generator pop. And yeah, we got 3 generators in this nice. Like I said, we got the one at top mid, 2 and Shaq. So it is something to be held. But with Shaq being one of the generators, it does cut line of sight a little bit, so it can make it a little bit difficult. But this is a very, this is gonna be very interesting if the survivors are able to get this unhook, which they will be able to with the double unhook. But we did spread a lot of the Sloppy Butcher. Everyone is injured. The only person that will be able to help Mr. Cans is away, but they're working away at their generator. Try to go for a swing. Cans, or maybe for a grab, not quite able to connect. Mr. Cans is now going to be playing for their lives. Will X1 Sentry also play for their lives? Let's see what they will do. No, Geztrix able to cut Mr. Cans off, and we actually do see OA trying to help them out, but not quite able to protect Mr. Cans. Will also get a quick tag onto them. Everyone is injured going into this 3v1. Geztrix could potentially make the snowball roll downhill very, very quick, but never mind. What am I even saying here? That gen pusher is actually insane. The 5th and final gen pops, and now we did see that adrenaline as well for OA. That is huge. OA is the survivor that Geztrix wants. That is the fresh they're worth the most, and with that adrenaline, that is going to help them stealth out a little bit. Of course, being fully healthy, this is going to be very interesting. We still have Sentry and X1 injured as well, but I would assume that survivors would maybe play it slow, see if they can get a reset before tackling the doors, or maybe X1 is on one door, Sentry on another. Like I said, they are worth the least, so it is all good if they get found. But we see the pools of blood. Hey, we see who's a blocker. Who is this going for the grab? We're not able to get the head-on play from X1, so we will at least secure 2 more stages for Geztrix, but that might give enough time to open the gate and get Sentry and OA out the door. We're leaving this trial with a 3 fresh 7 stage result. What a play here, Hunter.
Definitely manageable for our survivors. It's not ideal because, you know, obviously we're looking at a potential 4K1 scenario. However, you got to be working with the cards that you are dealt with. So we'll have to wait and see what really transpires throughout these scene of events, as we do see Burke, who, again, for Peony Dynasty, has been the man of the moment in some scenarios. As he does spawn over towards the top pocket, he is going to be making his rotation back towards the shack with those yellow bottles in hand. It's just going to be lighten out who we can see, even going for some egregious swings, because he hears some footsteps there, and we see somebody in the deep pocket of the bottom half of the map. Deep 6, how do you like that now? And over on the generator somewhere in the distance is our Ace and Shades, Mr. A71, being the captain of this team. Or is it Gestrix these days? I don't actually remember. I know these guys tend to switcheroo, and I'm pretty sure you guys would have seen it throughout the upcoming soon screen, but I did not have the pleasure of that. Regardless, Burke still looking for that first chase, did not want to opt to chase the Survivor rotating here over at bottom, so now does so a little bit later on. Gestrix and A71 have some nice progression, as we are still forever in search of that first tag that's going to be balanced landing off of the hill, and Frozen is able to make some incredible distance off of that and does have to play this 4 walls pallet, greets it very nicely, wins the 50 there after it does go down, and he's going to be wrapping around the long side. Lol jokes the short side. He's trying to make that dumpster filler, but he has not bought himself enough distance after running into the purple bottles. Down go the yellow ones, and that's an extra 17% in hand as per add-ons helping us out this time around. Unfortunately, there's still the spectator bug, and I didn't get a look at the build, so I don't really know what add-ons were being brought in, and I know one of our lovely rests will tell me in the casters chat, but it'll be a little bit too late. I'll be carried off away with talking about something else as soon as that gets to me, but thank you very much. There it is. And I don't even know the names of these add-ons, but I know what they do. Regardless, I don't want to see it again. We are going to be taking that hook there with the pain resonance, and for a build, there is no corrupt intervention. So we're going for that aggressive snowball kind of play, which I'm not even too sure what we saw last game. If my memory serves me correctly, did I see corrupt? I can't remember, but I definitely saw eruption. I know that. There was corrupt, sloppy butcher, and
Painter's.
Okay, yeah.
Painter's eruption, sloppy butcher, and corrupt intervention.
Oh, that's good. Thank you very much for remembering the build there, Peaches. You know, the old age is getting to me somehow, but we're going to be getting Frozen off the hook there in the background as we do commence the chase onto Thomas. He's going to be going down after losing the 50 over that pallet, and that's going to spell the second stage of the matchup here. But are you back? Is your internet slash computer slash microphone fixed, Mr. Sir?
I guess I'll find out very soon enough, as I'll be paying very close attention to that little chat that we were talking about in the background, where we get a lot of our very helpful information. So please let me know if it is buggy. But yeah, loading back in, I can see I missed a little bit of that first part of the beginning here, so I'm a little bit unsure exactly what's going on, but I do really like the build though. Like you said, not having that corrupt intervention can be pretty risky. If that first chase does go on for too long, you can allow the survivors to get a ton of gen pressure on the map here. So going for that turn back the clock ruin instead is, I like it. It's very aggressive. Like I said, that Ruin Sloppy is such a great combo. Ruin, of course, eats away at the generators when no one is on them. And of course, Sloppy Butcher makes the resets that much slower. And of course, when you're resetting, then you're not on the gens. And of course, that's going to allow the generators to be regressed. So I like that combo. Of course, it is still a glass cannon type build because it is a Hexed. Oh my gosh, hit Thomas through that pallet stun going down. And that will be the second hook onto Thomas. And that will be one step closer to a tunnel out for Burke here. They are definitely on top of the game right now. Tunnel out at four generators ready to go. The survivors of XSIDE are definitely going to be feeling that pressure, but so far, still not looking too bad. Catching out Gestrix over here at Shack, immediately dropping the Shack pallet. But Burke doesn't really have to go for the tunnel either, though. Like with this win con, the 3 fresh 7 stages, we don't have to go for the Thomas. We can go for these freshes, go for these extra stages, and really just put on that pressure and force the survivors to do we protect our tunnel out, or do we protect our stage? Like how much are we able? How many bodies can we throw at protecting these stages here? It can be an extremely difficult call to make, but it looks like Burke is happy with going for that tunnel onto Thomas if they're able to find it. And there goes Ruin. That's what I was talking about. Ruin did stay up a lot longer than I was expecting to see, but it's good that they did get good for the survivors of the XSIDE to get rid of that as fast as possible, and now they can actually get some solid gem pressure on the board. But for the side of Peony Thunder, they are able to find Thomas. This is the tunnel and no one is around. They don't make it back to that pallet, and there's not going to be any way Firecracker is going to help them out, or any flashlight or nothing at all whatsoever. That will be the Thomas leaving the trial at 3 generators remaining. And now the survivors of XSIDE are really going to be feeling that pressure if they weren't already feeling it already. We're at 4 hooks right now. Only need 3 more for the tie if it's all on one survivor. Or, like I said, spread them out. You can put on A71, put some on Gestrix, put on whoever. Burke is feeling themselves right now, Hunter.
Oh, the mind games around the short filler here over at the Broken Bus. Spells the down onto A71. He was caught off guard, and this is another Pain Resonance stack. It is not looking good currently. 5 stages, 3 fresh, and we're looking for that 6-stage win condition. All in the meantime, there's 3 generators remaining for us survivors. So Burke looking like he's in the box position as the piss bottles do go down. He's going to be making his rotation towards bottom 6. He's got that turn back the clock value in his back pocket as well. Doesn't have Ruin anymore, but does he need it? Hell nah. He's just going to be hitting those gens from a distance. He has the likes of 1 more stack of Pain Resonance if he opts to choose to chase Gestrix later on in the trial, but it's not needed as we do take the chase back onto Frozen. With Balanced Landing, he's able to make a way down into 5, but that's a nice looking bottle there onto his back, and it's going to spell the first tag onto Frozen. Frozen's going to be trying to make down to Shaq and going to be trying to utilize those resources within that area. However, Burke doesn't want any of it. He's going to be taking advantage of that sloppy butcher. He's got that perk in. He's got, you damn well know he's going to be using it. As the bottles do go down again, we're going to be trying to catch out Frozen off guard, trying to rotate for that bottom side generator once more. Pallet goes down over at 7 here, and he does go down after dropping it as well and trying to vault to win that 50. It's not what you want to see if you're really rooting for XSIDE here. And now Frozen's going to be picked up on our killer's shoulders, and Burke's even going to hook him towards the most progressed generator here over at Deep 6. So this is the only hook you can really give up in this instance. From what happens, what needs to happen here? And this is an ideal world speaking. This is not a realistic world. It's just a crazy chase where we just spend way too much time overcommitting in a 2 split of gens, or all trying to get those 3 gens done and dusted, and it's looking extremely grim for the boys over at XSIDE. I think Peony Dynasty just kind of have this chop done and dusted, as they have met the tie condition at the very least. Have they met the win condition? I'm not too sure. No, they haven't, because it's not 7 stages. My apologies. Brain go brr sometimes, but down goes the yellow bottles again. We are going to be commencing the chase back onto 9, and it's going to be Frozen in chase once more. He does not have any way to be using his balanced landing, and he's going to be losing the 50 ultimately after losing his endurance status effect as well. You do see in the background that 2 split that I was talking about, but that chase needed to be a little bit longer, and I said it was unrealistic, and as so, we have met our tie condition at the moment. It is 7-3 right now. Wait, is it 7-3? I can't, yeah, because there's 2 death last.
Yeah.
Can't go down from here on out, Peaches, and that's going to be a turn back the clock onto the likes of 6. Oh, and we've been caught at the long wall. Oh, Burke's closing in. He's getting there. He's definitely getting there.
Definitely getting there indeed. This is where the 1v1 skills really come in. Has Gestrix been on the 1v1 ladder? Let's see how he can do, because that's really all you can hope and pray for now. A71 slams away at the gens. Gestrix stays in chase, unless, of course, Burke wants to veer off and look for A71, but I don't think that's going to happen. They want to secure that win right here, right now. Let's see what Gestrix can do. Taking over to the top 12, dropping that pallet, perk swinging away at it, holding W around the tile. Do they stay at the pallet? Do they leave? They are staying at the pallet. We got to win a couple of 50s. Ooh, playing their check spots here, going from one check spot going to the other. Burke is able to get into their haste bottles, going left, going right. Can they make it over to the window? I don't know with this haste. I think Burke is going to catch up, and they do get the down onto Gestrix, and with this hook, that will be the set point and win to the side of Peony Dynasty. Congratulations to them taking the one up over XSIDE here. Going into the next side, of course, the match isn't over. Yeah, of course, we'll see A71 get their own chase as well. But going into the second set, Spear on Wrecker's Yard, Peony Dynasty's own pick. That's got to be feeling pretty solid for Peony Dynasty. I mean, that we saw last week, I think you and I were casting it last week, Peony Dynasty versus Kaido Kids, where it went to the double tiebreaker on the Spirit set, and it was a brutal battle back and forth. But we'll talk about that more as we're still in this trial. Oh, never mind. Gestrix is trying to ask for forgiveness. Please Sir, can I please offer you a pallet stun? No, we're not getting that pallet stun. Burke is not having none of that. And Burke is just going to chase down Gestrix, get the down, and call it a day. And I'm not sure where A71, maybe A71 is working away at a generator. Actually, yeah, panning around a little bit myself. We do see A71 working away at that generator, trying to get that 4K1, you know, get the best result possible, because that's all you can really do at this moment going into a set that's not yours. But still, regardless, Peony Dynasty definitely feeling pretty good about. I would think they'd be feeling pretty good about this win going into their set. I mean, Spirit, I mean, unless you want to give some more insight here or hindsight about that set, as you and I were both casting that one, it was quite the brutal battle, was it not, against Kaido Kids?
I unfortunately was not there casting that one. I don't think I was there last week. Yeah, I don't remember that match. I know that Kaido Kids lost and went to the loser bracket. However, if that was on the Sunday,
who was that casting with?
I wasn't there. Somebody please help us out. What actually happened? Because I actually didn't even see that match.
Wait, okay, wait, you were there. Oh, my bad. I think it was cheap. That's my bad. I'm getting around you guys for too long. I've been with you all weekend. It's like, welcome back, everyone. We are on to the second set, Spirit on Wrecker's Yard. This is Peony Dynasty's picks that they will be killing first. We got Tuha on the killer. In case you missed the first set, Clown on Wrecker's Yard, the set went to the side of Peony Dynasty. It was a very well fought battle between the two teams, but Peony Dynasty came up on top. So they're feeling pretty good going into their own set pick. And as I was alluding to earlier, when I actually I got some of the casters confused. Peony Dynasty put up quite a big fight last week against Kaido Kids, but the two of them went, I think it was a double tiebreaker on the Spirit, and they put up some pretty big numbers. So I'm not too familiar with XSIDE's Spirit gameplay, so I apologize. I am very not too sure with their experience, but I'm always excited to see what the teams can do. And starting off right away, Tuha getting a very fast injury onto Frozen. Let's see what they can do. Going over to the top mid area, going towards 12. I believe that is going to be the spot that they were looking for. Going for the jungle gym, and oh my gosh, a long launch through the pallet, getting it down onto Frozen. Very, very early down, and we will be able to hook probably around the painters deep into 12. But what a way to start this match here, Hunter.
Yeah, definitely. That's a very quick down. It's you know what? They do have a bit of progression as a result of it, though. You know, Thomas and Gestrix about 75% of the way of one of them, but has come to a halt a little bit as we do go into the phase there. Tuha's going to be closing in his distance towards the middle section of the map, getting his bearings. There's really no way anybody is. He does see some crows fly down, so he knows somebody's within this area, and it's the Survivor working 7. Go figure, considering that Pain Resonance has tanked away over at 7. That's a nice looking blind coming in from our serve as well, but with a little bit of collision, a little bit of hearing, we are going to be spelling the tag onto Thomas, so it did not aid him in the end. Tuha straight back into the phase over towards the hook, and he's going to be trying to get this tunnel out as soon as he can. He's even going to be trying to cut off the rotation after momentarily looking around to sight out where they would have rotated to, but we have just smack banged head on, headbutted the killer, I guess, Zinedine Zidane style, as we do go back into the phase there. Maybe this can just spell the down over at Deep 12 and opted to go for death location as to oppose of a chase, and this is not looking good for the side of XSIDE as we do pick up Frozen for the second stage now. Not going to be a Pain Resonance this time, so you can dare say that A71 is going to be able to get his generator finished. As we do take the break here over at short 12, back into the phase, and it's a rinse-repeat scenario very early on here, Peaches, as he does go towards the middle of 12. He does sight out over at 3, no danger there. Even looking over at 4, and you see some pistons pumping. Oh, turn back the clock. That's the build I want to see. Turn back the clock, Pain Resonance, and pop goes the weasel if we need to kick a generator. 7 being done in the background there, so you can anticipate that A71 will have his over towards the likes of 9 done as well. No, sorry, 5. I apologize. It was the one that was hit with turn back the clock. However, got to be taking this down. Gestrix is to just preserve the life of Frozen. Now, what Frozen needs to do is last enough to be a problem here. You know, if he does do so successfully, it's going to force Tuha to rotate off of the chase and play for his survivors, for his fresh survivors, his fresh hooks. But with such an early tag, I don't see a world where that is feasible realistically. We do still have the likes of Shack Pallet to be thrown. That's going to buy us at least 10 seconds to get away. after it does go bye-bye and it does get broken in the distance, Tuha straight back onto the case of this tunnel out. And where do you go from here on out? I'm not too sure what exhaustion Frozen has. I was not paying enough attention, but we do have the crane to our disposal, and now we're opting to play this very weird 50 that usually we really shouldn't be winning. Pallet does go down, we won the stun! We played the mind games too effectively, and now again, in the face, landing, swinging and a miss, buddy, back into the face. Can we get the down? And this is what I was saying, this is the chase that you need. This is the one that may prompt Tuha to leave it entirely. He's still going to be trying to get this down after swinging out the window there. Scratch marks leading into 7, backtracking towards Shaq. We got lost momentarily. Pally goes down over a 7. We won the 50, and now into the deep pocket of 6, where I'm not even too sure there might even be a body ready to be taken. 871 going to be popping in the background, and Thomas, Geztrix, even though I don't think they're resetting, the avatar hasn't changed, you can anticipate that they'll be slamming out Pistons. Down goes Frozen, reset happening. I've been sorely mistaken. Thomas is slamming away over at 10 though, so some good pressure for the 3v1 with 1 generator remaining. Can they do it, Peaches?
Well, yeah, I think they can absolutely do it with that insane chase. They needed that. Like I said, like we were both pointing out, that first chase and even the second just was not long enough. So all that Frozen could do before they went down was make Tuhan's life just a little bit harder. Just lasting that little bit longer, because just those extra couple seconds can really make that difference. This game is about a game of time. How much gen pressure can we put on the map? How much time can we waste from the killer? How much time can we cut away from the survivors? So very well played from Frozen, dying all the way away from this. I guess I don't know if you consider this at least 3 gen maybe, although the 1 and 10 are pretty far apart. At least it is in a straight line, and we got that turn by the clock. It is just a fantastic perk. But going into the 3v1, everyone is healthy. There's a good amount of gen pressure on the map still, but Tuha, I think, is still in a pretty solid position themselves. Like I said, they can see both the gens 10 and 2 perfectly clear and fine if they sit right in the middle around Shaq, and trying to find out where the other survivors are at. I don't think we have had any eyes on anyone yet, and A71 is just working away at one of those generators, which I believe is the one toward the bottom side, as there's no reason for Tuha to go down there. I mean, maybe if they start wanting to go for the freshes, but I don't think Tuha is in that position yet where they have to start looking for the stages. They're going to see if they can get a hook in this loose 3-gen. We're taking this chase onto Thompson. Thomas able to get the first injury, playing some little standstill mind games at the bus here, playing some another 50s and winning another 50. Thomas going on their own crazy chase right now. Tuha getting their phase back, but eventually chases Thomas to the edge map. And is there any other painters around? Because I think A71's gen is absolutely going to pop. Gestrix is also, or should be, working away at their own generator. Yes, we do have a painters over here at 12. It is still pretty far away from the 3-gen, but is with Tuha able to stand kind of in the middle of these 2 generators, kind of like right in front of the Shack door here. I think we can have eyes on both sides and the hook, so it will be a little bit difficult for our survivors here to get the unhook and get more gen pressure. Well, I'm just gonna put my foot in my mouth. Someone has already snuck around and got the unhook onto Thomas, and we also see a lot of pressure on 2 as well. But I think that was the pain res gen. So survivors bringing it back. They will probably want to get a reset onto Thomas in a bit. But Tuha tracking down Thomas. They don't want them to get away quite yet. Oh, we get the dead hard. We missed the dead hard. Tuha able to get the hit down onto Thomas. We're trying to go for another tunnel out as well. Is this going to be a basement hook? No, I don't think it's going to be a basement hook. Going for this is actually the preferred hook that I was looking at. This one right here and the one closer to 2, I think, is a little better than the one at 12. Of course, that is a pain res, but this here is closest to the 10 gen, which is does have a lot of progress. Of course, if they did on the other side too, also having a lot of progress, this is a very good middle spot for Tuha. Nice being able to just look down this, I guess, this road, you could say. There's a couple of line of sight blockers here, but definitely not too bad of a spot for Tuha to be here, Hunter.
Definitely has to play aggressive here, A71, as he does go to Tuha. This is going towards 2 and uses that turn back the clock value. There's the pull in the background, and we're even commencing the chase onto our Renato player, Mr. Geztrix, as the pallet does go down over at 2. We're going to be trying to play for a pain resonance and a fresh hook as opposed to going for Thomas after straight off the hook. A71 going to be 50% on that generator over at 10 as well. Geztrix has even lost sight of the killer there, and we've just got, lost in the sauce. We're just straight back to the Gen Patrol, and it's looking extremely dicey. You have a lot of pressure over at 10, and you have a lot of pressure over at 2. Who do you go for? I don't even know anymore, but we're going to be pressuring off here over at 10. It's not really anything to be too worried about. It's that generator over at 2 that's going to be a nightmare to hold. As we do take the chase onto A71, he's just going to be eating that tag, hauling us towards bottom half of the map here. Does utilize the jungle gym. That's going to be going down as a very safe resource, but he has to make his distance towards the deep pocket. He's going to be playing the checks plus the 50-50 sound mind games there, but grabbed off the pallet, but it does not matter. I don't think he gets it in time. He gets it in time, and Genstrix gets his generator popped in the distance there. Turn back the clock, Valley onto 10. Thomas forced to go for the pull here, and we might even have time to intercept the generator over at 2. All Austin had to do was haul ass to bottom. It was far away enough from a pain resonance, and we didn't have to play the 50s over that pallet to where we had gone down, but off the hook comes A71. Broken, might I add, considering the fact that he would have second wind at the moment. So he's going to be trying to look for that first, that last health state. There's going to be enough time for Geztrix to be able to get his generator done. And I think Too Hard knows that and wants to go for just the remaining stages, which Thomas has been picked off the pallet, and he's going to be the one at least allocated towards us. There's 2 survivors left in the trial. Ideally, you want Geztrix out from a position like this, considering he has 3 stages to his name. As to opposed to A71 only has 2, it will change the game from a 9-stage 3 fresh to a 10-stage 4 fresh. So it's the deciding factor here. Ideally for the survivors, you get both survivors out of the door here, right? We're going to be scrounging around this edge map building. I don't even know where this survivor went. I don't even know who's hiding around this pallet. It's going to be A71, not particularly the survivor that you want, but he's going to be eating a tag and forced into the corner there. He's just really trying to buy his teammates some time. Geztrix only hopping on the exit gate right about now. This is really dangerous territory. We've gotten lost in A71, being the man of the moment, able to last a little bit amongst the Z-Ball in a dream, realistically. Now, the question is, can he break away from this? Definitely not. There's nothing in his area to be working with. He's just buying Geztrix that time to get those 3 stages out the door for the result of 9 stages, 3 fresh, which in a spirit set is definitely you know, well executed, honestly, because you're looking at high stages, obviously, for Spirit, as opposed to mid to low stages. You know, 4K1 being the tournament average and 9 stages being the expected result. They have hit. They played that passage of play like so. It actually allowed them to be able to pull outs from that and get all generators done, number 1, and then pull outs in the later game. And that last minute chase coming in from A71. How do you like him now? He's just absolutely crazy. It's showing why he's like the man of the moment in some instances. I want to say every instance, but that would be extremely biased. However, Mr. Geztrix, Mr. Sir on the Spirit here, going straight into that phase, and away we go for the next match of this set. Set 2, match 2 of Series 1 of the night. Gonna be just sighting out here over towards the likes of the Edge Map 3. Not really seeing anybody making their rotation just yet, but there is somebody camping a pallet over here in this new L&L wall with the pallet. And I say new, it's been around the game for about 6 months now. However, it's still new to me. And then we're going to be swinging at that pallet there, not quite hitting Sentry just yet. Life in Hand's going to buy him some distance towards the likes of mid-12, straight into the phase there. Still looking for that first tag. Going to be going for the crouch to kind of hide behind the rock and blend in, but it did not work out in our favor. Sentry going to be getting hit fairly early on. This might be yet again another first chase that goes down very, very quickly. As we're playing around the short wall, we bump in with some collision towards Sentry, and he's trying to play around that phase, but we came out of it prematurely, and that's going to allow Geztrix to get his first down of the match. And the first pain resonance laid out nicely for us over towards corner 1, away in the distance there, making the rotation with Medkit in hand through the bottom side. You do see over at deep 6 and 7, we have X1 and Mr. Cans just, again, working those motors. Not really too much progression to be worried about on the side of Geztrix because he had it down fairly early. Got a nice vantage point sitting here over at 9 as well, up and down the hill. Does see this Crows in the distance there, so maybe he'll pick up on the fact that they've even gone for that rotation, but he doesn't really care. Trying to just push the survivor off of 7 first up and then trying to catch out the rotation towards the hook. Has not happened yet. So the survivors playing that extra slow game. Geztrix knows it, knows he has to apply some more pressure. Can't really sit over at 9, even though it's such a beautiful sight to see. We do manage to push off. I'm not even too sure who this is, but it was the survivor just working out over at 3. My eyesight is even failing me these days. It's going to be away with the med kit, which was the survivor I thought rotating for the pool. And we've decided to play the generator, hence why we haven't gotten the pool yet, question mark. maybe? Yeah, because we popped 6 and, 7 or 8 is still just going away. And yeah, away was the survivor to be just going for that pull. I think their primary indication would have had to be stealth. I don't think playing aggressive for that generator was the play because it was just such an easy find. It was an easy tag. Now, they do not get the pull before second stage. And I fear for them because with only one gen to show for it, Geztrix straight back over towards that hook can get the trade-off. The trade, I guess, if they go for the early pull and the tunnel out onto the survivor comes off the hook. But if they're smart enough, they'll pick up on that and they'll just go for gen pressure anyway. They might even just leave Sentry to die here, Peaches. I don't know the game plan. This is all just kind of me cooking up in my head, but yeah, I don't know.
I think you're right. I see why they allowed Sentry to go to second. Like I said, because down came in so early, they wanted to get gen pressure in exchange. Very nice tag onto Mr. Cans, but I think leaving Sentry to die this early on, because we still have Ruin in play here, and if Ruin still stays up into the 3v1, that will spell disaster for the side of Peony Thunder. Geztrix capitalizing on them not committing those gens, and like I said, because Ruin's still in play, they're able to chase them off a little bit, as you saw over there at 8, at 4 as well, but getting that BT hit onto Sentry. Sentry now is going to have to go on to chase similar to Frozens. They have to carry their team here because, like I said, going down at 3 gens remaining, Ruin is still in play, 3 paint resistance as well. It's not going to look good. Let's see what they can do. Sentry does make it over to Shack, drops the Shack pallet immediately, makes their way toward the top side, probably going to wrap around the broken window side of things. Are they going to make it over to 10? Make it a 10, swing it through the pallet. Sentry is able to hold W on the short wall. Can they make it to this trash pallet filler? No, it spawned. It did not spawn. Can they make it over to the bus? Geztrix going for the swing. Get the pallet stun, and they see the 3rd gen pop here. This is looking exactly like the chase in the previous set. We hear the footsteps. We hear actually the footsteps of X1 distracting Geztrix a little bit. I think they threw him off a little bit, but look at all the way toward the edge map of 9. You see Sentry hauling it all the way to the bottom. That's where the death spot needs to be for the side of the survivors. Catching up a little bit, and we will see the down eventually come in. But just like we were pointing out earlier with Frozen's chase, just make it that last chase just be as annoying as possible for Geztrix, make it extremely inconvenient as possible. And now, going to the 3v1, 1 generator remaining. I was about to say 2 generators remaining. 1 generator remaining. X1 is injured. Mr. Kansas is injured. Owe is still healthy, but I don't know if it was on. I didn't get a good look at these generators spread. We have 1 at 9, Shack, and I think that's 2, or 1. So I don't know if you consider this a 3 gen. I think the gens are slightly closer compared to the previous trial, but I think this is going to be a difficult spread to hold. But Ruin is still in play, so Geztrix is still not looking too shabby going to this 3v1.
Especially with Ruin still in the trial, this is something you probably want to be breaking right about now. And Geztrix knows it. That's why he's rotating over towards 3. He's really trying to sniff out everybody's stealthing out, and the game has come to a complete halt. You have Away just stealthing around the rock, ready to preemptively hop on either the totem or the generators. Hopefully he's seen the totem. You do see the reset, which we've got out, might I add, over at Deep 12. Oh no, problems from here on out. Sprint burst to save us, but that's not the survivor we're chasing. Mr. Cairns in a locker. Mr. Cairns out the locker. Now going to be slapped on top of the hook over towards the corner of 1. That pain resonance is going to slow down that progression over at the Shack, but you know what, there was nothing on there to begin with because Ruin just tanked it away while we were going for that reset and the stealth around the totem there. So this is something that needs to be broken right about now. The survivors did really well to play through it throughout the entire game, but I still die on this hill at this point. You just got to break Ruin in the 3v1. It can tank the 3 gen, because you said, yeah, this is a 3 gen. Yes, it is a 3 gen. It's not a tight 3 gen, so it's manageable, but even a manageable 3 gen with Ruin, with 3 survivors left in the trial, 1 being on hook, problems here. Very much problems. As Geztrix does look around the map again once more, does even get a little bit worried over at 10, but he has clear line of sight and some indication that, yeah, the generator isn't being worked and it's safe to just kind of proxy the hook and the totem here. Does see the scratch marks leading towards the totem, but backtracking back into the likes of Shack. Geztrix just, again, over at 2. and this is going to put him at a halt. He's playing extra defensive right now. He doesn't want to relinquish his hook, but he does not want to relinquish the generators at the same time. He sees somebody here over at 2, and it 10, and it is going to spell some regression on that generator as per Ruin. So that's going to be the tag onto Alway, and it's safe to commit this, but it can potentially spiral and just go out of control. He has to be extremely careful. I want to say after 1 or 2 pallets, if you don't get the down, you have to leave. And as I say that, Caster's Curse, Mr. Alway is going down after vaulting the pallet over at 7. This is grounds for Mr. Cans and X1 to get their resets in and then go for a 1-1 split. However, we've decided not to do that and opted to go for the gen pressure. We're playing extra risky because if Mr. Cans is found, and it's an incredible find from Geztrix, it's problems once again. He's even dragging into the middle of the 3-gen. This is why you can't necessarily press the generators so aggressively. I mean, you have to play the slow game, especially with, again, Ruin still in the trial. It's going to be tanking away over at 2. We saw X1 hop off the generator, just stealthing around the hook here. Mr. Geztrix around the rock, doesn't see where the stealth out of this generator went. Mr. Can stuck over at 7 with his thumb piece, but he can't do nothing at the moment. As we do get the pull, we're all hauling us over towards 6, and there's no progression from the survivors. The killer on the front foot right now does get the swing over at the window. There's going to be the tag on Mr. OA, and vaulting the window after that, he's going to go straight away to the bottom of the map there. There's no real reason to chase him, and Geztrix knows that. We were worried about 10, but we know that nobody's been working on it as Mr. Cans was just stealthing over around 7, and now that's going to allow them to reset here just before this locker, and then Mr. Healthy over there, X1, is going to be able to press those generators safely, but I don't know who these scratch marks are. I do believe this is X1. Yeah, he's been caught out, and it's an amazing find from Geztrix. I got to really give credit to where credit is due. The finds from Geztrix have been great. They need to be studied. The fact that he's found 2 survivors in the span of maybe 2-3 minutes, and there'll be an incredible find, game-changing find. It's crazy. It's crazy. This man needs to be stopped. However, the survivors are trying to take the game a little bit slower now, and this is exactly what needs to happen in this instance as we do win all kinds of 50s around the shack. Straight back into the phase, Mr. Geztrix might be able to close in the distance onto X1. Just playing around with the scratch marks there, but we're still making loud noises with those grunts of pain, and we do not make that window. We tried baiting out the swing. We got caught at the lip of the half wall there. And we have gone down just before the trash pile filler, and we're even getting rid of that Ruin. This is exactly what needed to happen in this instance. All in the meantime, you have one other survivor just slamming out the gen. Now, where does Geztrix go from here? Ruin gone out of the trial. What are we currently looking like as far as stages go? I do believe this is 6-4 at the moment, so Geztrix still trailing behind about 3 stages at the moment. You know, he's going to be winning on a fresh hook if he does manage to get 3 stages in the end. However, he's still got some fairly, he's still got some work to do here, Peaches.
Definitely still has a little bit of work, but Geztrix is still in a fantastic position. Even though Ruin is out of the trial, you still have Eruption to bank off of. You can kick both of these generators, and then you can relatively comfortably go for some chases, because you know then the Eruption will proc and get that nice little minus 10% on those generators. And just like here, we did apply the Eruption. We're going over to chase OA. Let's see what they can do. Although we already broke this pallet earlier in the car field, they're kind of getting a little mixed up with the scratch marks. We're really taking this chase all the way to the bottom of the map, hauling it. And are we going to see a reset from X1 and Mr. Cans? No, I don't think so. We're going to get the down all the way toward the bottom, but honestly, if we want to, we could. No, we can't camp this out. This is only the 7th stage, and that would be 8 stages. But yeah, we only need 2 more stages on the side of Geztrix. The survivors of Peony Thunder or Peony Dynasty can only give 1 more stage over, or else it will be a win for the side of XSIDE. So Geztrix going back toward the top side, looking around, trying to see. Oh, they found the exact same. Wasn't this the exact same spot they found the reset earlier on, or at least really close by? And we're getting the tag onto Mr. Cans. We see the unhook onto OA from X1, and now we're able to phase over, see if we can follow it up with a second tag. Is this going to be a 2-tap? Not quite yet. Mr. Cans, can they make it to the down pallet? Yes, they will. Mr. Cans is going to need to have a chase of a lifetime. They see the reset onto X1. X1 might come in to help Mr. Cans here potentially. Let's see what they do. Looks like they're making their way over to Shack, over to this weak pallet, over to 6, over at the matchsticks, but not quite able to confuse Geztrix quite yet. We'll get the pickup and let's see if I can do quick math. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 8th stage. Only 1 more stage for Geztrix to take the win. They have, survivors of Peony Dynasty have to get this unhook and get everyone out the gates. That's going to be incredibly difficult to do, especially when they find a nice injury onto X1. Gestrix can basically commit this to the end of the trial and win this set. We see the unhook onto Mr. Cans. They really just have to double a generator. Maybe Mr. Cans goes to the gen away, might help out X1. I'm not sure what the plan is going to be, but we don't have this fake, this pallet here. I think that was a 99 sprinters to get a little bit of distance, but again, there's nothing else around here. These resources were already used up. Gestrix taking the down onto X1, unless there's a beamer or a firecracker or a flashbang of some sort. That is going to be the set win, going to the side of XSIDE, going 1-1 into the Oni tiebreaker. I'm excited to see an Oni tiebreaker. This has been such a battle back and forth. The teams taking each other's sets. Peony Dynasty taking XSIDE's pick. XSIDE taking Peony Dynasty's pick. We're in for quite the battle here. Of course, the match isn't over. We're going to get the best possible result going into that tiebreaker. But honestly, just what a matchup between these two teams, Hanta.
Oh, yeah. Both sides playing really, really well. I mean, especially Gestrix, again, able to capitalize on all these kinds of finds, even though it's Wrecker's Yard, even though there's not really much breakage for as far as line of sight goes and nowhere to really hide. He's still doing very well to be perceptive and still maintain the pressure over at his generators, as well as getting his downs in to make sure that he's getting that value coming in from Eruption and the rest of his pain resonances, because they really did help him in the end. And Ruin just tanking those gens very early on into the 3v1 there. As we do see Mr. Cans, he is just going to be opting to die into the corner of 7, all in the meantime away, still working away over at his generator towards bottom, and X1 somewhere off in the distance, probably starting another generator, although you probably couldn't see it because of the spectator HUD. I'm not actually in the game, so I actually wouldn't know. Gestrix going to be getting this down onto Mr. Cans, and that might even just be a double in that generator, I'll be completely honest, because that thing is flying about 75% of the way done. It's over at deep 12. You do see, yes, both X1 and away just slamming away, and it's going to be popping just before Gestrix's face, but it does not matter. He has met his win condition at the moment. As it stands, he has 10 stages, and we do see the tag coming in onto away, and we've opted to go towards to chase X1. So X1, after using Sprint Burst, is going to be able to win the 50 over at the window. Not going to be winning the second one, though. We're going to be grabbed straight off of it. It's not enough to even let away get on the exit gate, unfortunately. And maybe Gestrix will pick up on the right exit gate here as he does go into the phase. Yeah, there it is. He knows, he saw the last rotation part from away, which was over towards 9. There's a 1 light exit gate. We're trying to get it done as soon as possible, but it's just not going to have... we are not going to be getting it done in time. We are just going to be going down straight in front of the exit gate, and that's going to be the 4K0. So, you know, what could have they done differently? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe play it a little bit. Cleanse the ruin a little bit earlier, yeah. And welcome back, everybody. Tiebreakers, tiebreakers, tiebreakers. It is only on the Call Tower 1 this time around. So stock standard stuff. Who's going to take it home? I don't know. After both teams taking each other's picks, XSIDE taking away the Spirit set, and Peony Dynasty taking away the Clown set is mind-boggling, considering the fact that we anticipated that both these teams would take away their own set. We thought it was going to go down to the tiebreaker upon coming into this match, but not in the fashion that it panned out. Regardless, going to be stock standard stuff here. Bottom spawn for the killer and top side spawn for the survivors. Going to be playing around the main for that first chase here. Away, going to be the first survivor, dropping down that pallet just on the likes of top corner 1. After we do kick it, Gestrix looking for anywhere to divert onto somebody who has just made a bad rotation. We're going straight down the road, so we're able to utilize the shack there, but we've played very aggressive on the generator here as far as our ace, Mr. Sentry, goes, as he does drop down this pallet here over in the middle of the pallet, the outside of the pallet gym. He's able to chain it towards the T and L, now still in the M1 state, Mr. M1 Trapper, the Japanese Trapper, Mr. Gestrix is still looking for that first tag and just trying to play his mind games around the T. Not quite working out, winning all kinds of 50s. Sentries even just debuted away. He was never at the T at all. He was just going back on the generator trying to work it underneath just Gestrix's nose, and he's just ventured off into the likes of 10, where potentially he could spot someone stealthing out, as we did see a crow fly up in the distance, where you see the Quinton Mr. Cans here over at the matchstick tiles, but does chain it nicely into this pallet here sitting over at 9. We do see someone in the background cross past that window as well, so it begs the question, do they have enough pressure on the map? The tag is looking like it will come in just a second here, but Gestrix is swung just a little too late and just missing it, hitting a whole bunch of wood, plus 10 wood. It's not very what you want at the moment, but Mr. Can's going to be still winning those 50s around this 9 tile, going to be playing around the mind games there, and does ultimately lose this one. That's going to be the blood accumulated for half of the gorge, at least a little bit over, potentially done and dusted for our killer. Going to be trying to collect these blood orbs, and I dare say if we don't get the down, we are just going to be chasing something a little bit more favorable, but just for that, we are going to be letting the bro leak all over the place just a little bit longer, and even chain the chase into 1 where the pallet does go down, and it's the same pallet over at 9, which posed problems for Gestrix, but still trying to get this down via the M1, and does so successfully after a few seconds of playing around the short rock there, playing on the correct side. It's going to be the pickup onto Mr. Cans and a hook that is not a pain resonance. So we have Ruin. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't have said that we had Ruin because it's gone. But we have power right now, Peaches, and let's see what we can do from here on out. Going to be playing pretty much the defensive game, I think, but all at the same time, he does have to keep up a lot of pressure here if he wants to keep his generators and not lose the game at his fingertips.
Absolutely, but looking at the gen spread though, I think even though we ran out the corrupt and did we just find the rotation coming in trying to get the save onto Mr. Cans? Oh yes, we did. We find X1 here. I think we're gonna get that very fast down onto X. What I was going to point out is we hooked in our top side 3-gen and now getting it down in that 3-gen and a hook. That is not looking too good for the survivors of Peony Dynasty. We also catch out another survivor at 5. Who is this? This is Centric. Oh my gosh, Gestrix is going on an absolute Oni rampage here. If they can find OA, this will be it. We're gonna only see the 4K4 result. Do we have eyes? We have eyes on OA. Gestrix is ending this match right here, right now. OA needs to go on some crazy chase right now if they want to get a pickup on X1, get a pickup onto Sentry, or get the unhook onto Mr. Cans. We get. Oh my god! Oh my gosh! The game's over. The game had just begun. The game had just started, Gestrix. We're supposed to have this long battle between 2 intense teams, but Gestrix said, nah, screw that. We are going to, we're taking this set right here, right now. We're the ones moving on to the winner's bracket. Of course, anything can happen, but a rampage like that going from one slug to the next, what do we even say about this match? Like, we're supposed to have some sort of this, back and forth for the obviously swap sides, but what do we even say here? Oh my god!
I lost the words. Peaches, the game's over, and it's not even been like 3-4 minutes. What the witnessed? No, the stream is wait, what?
3 minutes and 46 seconds. 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Thank you, go on. 3 minutes.
Bro, that might be the quickest one in OSL history. I'll be completely honest. I'm surprised they even got a gen done as a result of that. I think OA needed to make his rotation a little bit earlier.
That's it.
You gotta pray. You gotta pray.
Yeah,
hey, you have to be a believer.
Really
you have to be a believer.
I mean, we have to see it even earlier. Like we were mentioning earlier, the first tag in the previous trial came in a reasonable amount of time. Like I said, allowed the survivors enough time to get to the bottom of the map, or be in the right positions. Eventually spot out Ruin. But we need even faster tag, faster than that. And these are the survivors of XSIDE we're talking about here. We've seen that they haven't lost a set until they went up against Long, and they also are the ones that took up the match against Gospel last week. So they're not going to just give Burke that easy tag, get the blood flowing. It is not going to happen, but let's see what can happen, Hunter. We're getting the first chase onto Gestrix. Let's see if we can get a tag. They are able to make it over to 8, but Burke actually just happy with breaking some of these pallets. Maybe he wants to somehow clear up the map a little bit. Doesn't want to take the chase at 8, but we do have Ruin in place, so that can help a tiny bit to keep Burke in chase. But again, you're just an M1 killer walking around with your own 2 feet until you get power. And oh man, Ruin's also not in the best location. Any survivor that goes toward the bottom side will see that hex. We also see the noise notifications at Shack. I feel like that's a chase me noise notification. That is Gestrix as well. Corrupted Intervention is almost out, taking the chase towards 7, dropping the pallet immediately. Actually, this is the exact same tile that Gestrix chased Mr. Cans in the previous one. So let's see what they can do on the side of things to actually being able to path over to Shack. Can they make it to the Shack? We get the Bloodless go, not swinging for the window. We make it through the window. We're going to get Bloodless 2 momentarily. Are we going to swing for the window this time around? No, they will make it back to the window, doing some My Games on the doors. And oh my gosh, holding W to the Shack. Wait, pallet, we actually went around the long. And with that gen popping, we are at Bloodlust 2. That is the set win to the side of XSIDE. And still, this chase is still going on. Eventually, Burke was at Bloodlust 3 and forced the Shack pallet to drop and break. And now all that Bloodlust is gone. So even if we want to have a fantastic chase or some sort of snowball, get the blood flowing, Burke is not going to be able to do so, but still eventually get the tag onto Gestrix through the window, vaulting into Gestrix at the window. Can they make it toward the pallet? I think they are able to, especially when we hesitate just a tiny bit, but we're gonna hold W2 the window edge. I'm sorry, I'm getting way too caught up in this, Hunter. Oh my gosh, it's so good. There's so much going on here because Gestrix is going on this demonic chase when it should be only in the demon power having a demonic chase. And eventually we see that down with the first gen already popping, Thomas gen about half, and it does the amount of frozen gen above quarter. The game is over, but we still are going to play this out for the best result possible. I gotta take a break for a second, Hunter. Hold on.
No, it's okay. You recollect yourself because it's definitely been a series. Oh, like, you know what would really upset me, Peaches, if you're still listening, is if Burke 4K forward from this position. That would break my heart. That would break my heart, and it's definitely not doable. However, he has yet to find someone here over at the edge map and has gone for a very ambitious pop, which is what you would need if you're playing for a 4K4 win condition. I understand the thought of wanting to play so preemptive and so aggressive in a state like this, especially when you're fighting for win condition. However, it will come back to bite you in the ass in some instances. As A71 does go down, we are fairly lucky in that regard. However, we've lost a good chunk of our power with only 1 down to show for it. So, going to be collecting that blood, but we do have hull to our advantage, which I guess is that frequency rate of drop the blood, 33%, a little bit more. So, we're able to get our power just that little bit quicker, and that might aid us a little bit after getting that hook. But we've pressed our survivor off the generator over at main. We do see someone here injured, and I believe that is I'm not even too sure who that is. No, we saw them injured, but they got reset, question mark? Or am I just seeing things on the floor? I don't even know anymore. But anyway, going to be swinging through a whole lot of nothing, and that's a mean-looking setup going in from 8 to 9. Yeah, I'd leave that too, Burke. Don't worry about that. However, he's reversed back up, straight back onto the hook here, but he will be losing his second generator over at main, as he is still, once again, the trapper but Japanese at this point, because he is the Mr. Oni in the M1 power form. Going to be collecting those blood orbs over here towards the Shack, and power in hand, away we go. Ambitious power pop again. See the scratch marks though, so we have some indication, some information that somebody is nearby. However, we opt not to chase them, and we go towards corner 11. We're banking on the fact that somebody's here. Somebody has to be here, and they're just not. Oh wait, they are. No, I've been sorely mistaken. Why is he not chasing the person over at 11? He's now opted to go for main building. Maybe this got to be balanced landing though. That's a nice looking flick. Well done to Burke there to get frozen down, and that was balanced landing. You are Mr. Correct, Mr. Streamer. Thank you very much. But yes, this is going to be frozen, slapped on a pain resonance hook in corner 11 now. He just put the game a little bit to a halt. Yeah, and that's going to just regress all the progression that we have over at main. So still not undoable for our killer. However, we have used 3 stacks of pain resonance. We only have really eruption to our disposal. Thomas being the only fresh hook in the trial, we have not seen him too much. I think we saw him over at 9 last when we were trying to pressure that mishaps over after the just after our first stage or second stage onto A71 potentially, I think. I don't know, but Burke's going to be going back towards 11 corner side, and it's going to be frozen off of the hook with his pulling survivor nearby as well, going in for the protection hit. This is our V player, Mr. Thomas, but we're going to be just trying to go for an FOV tech. That's not really going to quite work out, but oh my Yeah. Yeah. Get it off my screen. Oh, I hate it. No, I shouldn't be. I'm no stranger to ping hits. Don't worry. But I mean, I'm gonna be taking that pickup onto Frozen. He's gonna be hooked a straight smack bang in front of the most progressed generator over at bottom, and I do believe that would be Shaq. So A71, for the sake of my sanity, please pop the generator so I don't have to, forever cry about the fact that we 4K forward this match and lost on the fact that we didn't change the map in time. He has preemptively left the generator and not played for it, so it's still doable. I don't know, kicking this generator here over at the Shack and just trying to chase around the long side of it as well, but playing around the check spots very effectively here. Still no power in hand, so we're going to have to play the M1 mind games and try to get that tag, but we don't want anything of the sort. We do go back towards the hook, and the power goes up yet again. So can we get this down and go all the way down to top side to capitalize on any sort of mistakes that these survivors will be making? Potentially with a down onto A71, that's very quickly straight back into that power form. It seems like our survivors have oh no, they popped the generator. Whew. My sanity is saved. Okay, so it's just take it away. I'm getting a heart attack, y'all.
Yeah, I was about to say if Burke would have went on the exact same rampage with the power and was able to keep all the remaining gens up, it would have been absolutely insane. But for now, Burke is just gonna sit in front of Frozen's hook, make sure that they leave this trial right here, right now. That'll be Frozen leaving the match at 3 generators remaining, but there is so much pressure on the map. Shaq's got a lot of progress flicking around. You also, Thompson Gen has a lot of progress as once getting ready to progress. I don't think there's too much for 3 gens around the map. We also see A71 making their way toward the top side. We also see we're actually looping with friends here. We got A71 and Gestrix here. Add to Burke doing some standstill mind games, but of course we have our check spots down and locked. We're not falling for that. We don't see him on one side or the other. W King over to 3, but not wanting to commit. We have the bloodlust, but don't want to commit to A71 there. We do see the 3rd generator pop, and I think this is going to be Gestrix here work around the Shack. No, that is A71. My apologies. Taking the chase onto A71 around Shack. Let's see what they can do. Swing it at the window. What a fake from A71, expecting them to both make that will give them enough distance to make it over to 5 to the window at 5. Are they going to try and path over to the pallet, or are they going to go around the long side? A71 with those check spots, holding it down very well. Does rotate back over to this pallet at 5. Are they going to drop it? Yes, they will. Not getting any stun. Falls into the arms of our killer. We get the tag onto A7. We'll get the blood flowing once again. Thomas's gen just above a quarter. Actually, I think that is being double. No, it's not being doubled out. It looks like it's going a little faster. We also see Gestrix here working away at the Shack generator, and we do have we don't really have much of a 3 gen. I mean, we could potentially hold this bottom side a bit, but it's still pretty long and wide. Generators far in between, but we are going to get a little bit of blood off of A71's injury there as they're making their way toward main. Burke in power. Let's see what they can do. Can they go for a 3-man slug? Going toward the bottom, going for 8. Let's see if anyone's around here. Do we have eyes on anyone? Actually, I don't see any eyes. We see scratch marks going around main, going around the backside. Can we catch out A7? We saw them going over here recently. Are we going to smash the door one side? No, we are not. We're actually going straight down toward the bottom, 2-5. Seeing if we can catch out Gestrix over at Shack. We see a lot of progress on Shack going around back of Shack. No eyes at all whatsoever. That is the risk of that you're willing to, I mean, popping power without having eyes on anyone is extremely risky when you're in the Oni. Like, say, if you have no eyes on anyone and you pop your power and the survivors are able to reset, there's basically gonna be no blood on the map. You're gonna have no power. You're gonna be a walking M1 bear rolling through the woods, and yeah, that's what I was worried about. I was a little surprised to see them pop the power without any eyes, but wanted to get some sort of pressure on the map. I definitely get it. Wanted to see if they can go for a 3-man slug of some sort, but the risk did not outweigh the reward. And so we'll see him run out of power. Thomas Gen is about to pop. I believe that is the one at main. Yes, it is. So we still have this 3 gen to work on, but Shaq has so much progress. You also see Gestrix still poking away at this generator. It's got to be running out of regression in a short moment. We've kicked that one, I swear, like so many times. But for now, taking the chase onto Gestrix at 5. We're going for the window vault, vaulting in after him. They will make it back toward the 5 pallet, but they're going to W key over to 4, or at least use the environment to their advantage to path over to this mid 4. Burke might go for the swing here. Does get the injure. Not going for the pallet drop quite yet. Picking up a little bit more blood and doesn't have power quite yet. Going to rotate over to 8, see if they can catch out A71 or Thomas working away at the Swar Tower. Jen giving a nice eruption kick. We see the scratch marks. I think we're going toward the bottom side around 8 kind of sort of area, but we're going to leave that for now and take this chase onto Thomas here at 5. 5 has honestly been it seems to be such a pain for Burke. They haven't been seeing too much luck around that tile, but still, Burke finally getting power once again. We see the injured Gestrix. Are we going to pop power? We're just going to play the M1 chase that. I think that we are just going to play for the M1. Not worth popping power quite yet until you see eyes on a healthy survivor in the form of Thomas here at this I feel like. Let's see what they can do. Are they going to go for the pallet break? No, they're actually just trying to wrap around it instead. Are we going to fake it left, fake it right? No, we're going to the left side. Thomas is able to make it over the vault. Can we get a flick? Burke is not able to get that foot up. Burke pushing Thomas into a corner, gets a nice quick overhead slam onto Thomas, but also sees the eruption aura onto A71. Look at that rampage there, getting the down onto them as well, but Burke is getting ready to run out of power. Doesn't want to try and go find Gestrix. It will won't be greedy, takes their hook, and we do see that fastball from Gestrix through the window at Shaq, trying to get the pickup onto Thomas as soon as possible, but still, this is not that bad of a result at all whatsoever. The 4K, I mean, the gens could still be popped. We could still see the 4K 0 or outs, but Burke is definitely in a position to 4K 1 here, Hunter.
Yeah, you're right, and that's the tournament average there, Peaches. I mean, we anticipate 7 stages in an ideal world, but we don't live in an ideal world, as we were saying beforehand. And at 4K 1, still a very good result to pull if you are playing Oni, and it's realistic. As far as, yeah, at least how the tournament has panned out. It's a lot more realistic than a 4K4. It's a lot more realistic than a 4K5. And as we close out this match happening here on out, they are still able to get outs from this position here, as we do see somebody just hauling us towards the basement. They have 3 gen. So, I mean, the moment you go down there and get that down, I dare say that, you know, 8's going to be slammed out. Look, yeah, they were just planning on doubling on that all along, and A71 just has nowhere to run. Just tried to even crouch the power, but did not take into effect the way he had envisioned. Will be just going down and then just slapped on another pain resonance hook. I don't think he's there. Thomas is the pain resonance survivor, so. But Eruption did hit Shaq. You did see the aura there of 2 survivors working that generator, so it is safe to just pursue that generator. It is. Wait, there's one survivor working the gen. Water tower's gonna pop anyway. Crazy stuff. Do kick Shaq as well. Out comes the power. Are we gonna go for the survivor in the chase, or are we gonna go back to the water tower? We've gone for the survivor in chase, so, you know, water tower's gonna be popping anytime soon if we did not venture off too far. And we did not try to play out the power. Straight back on the case of water tower, you hope that he just W'd away from this generator, and he definitely did. As we do take the break, Burke straight back, ping-ponging himself between Shaq and water tower. Not really much you can do here. You have to be extremely careful. Going to be trying to even potentially force the lockers on the side of Gestrix. That's going to be the eruption proc onto that water tower generator, and there's just no way in the world that you get that done. We still got a little power on the gorge there, I'd say about 20% of the way, so we need to get this flick, and we need to get it now if it is going to be taken into effect with this power. But after the break there, that is just going to be it, gone, done, and dusted. It was a little bit less than 20%, maybe about 10%. However, Thomas going to be taking the chase here over towards the window, does vault it for the one time, and maybe will potentially pop the generator in. Nah!
Nah.
Come on! It's
adrenaline.
No way!
Adrenaline.
What a cheeky bugger! Honestly, there's no way he just did that to him, man. Power in hand, yeah, get him, Bert. Get him. That's crazy work. Oh, you love to see that. Holy crap! But then out comes the power. Can we get flicky with it? We win the 50 once over. Can we win it twice over? I mean, it's pretty hard to. I mean, given the fact that we're so quick with that crutch, and again, still struggling to get the movement down. Can be a little bit tricky, those little short fillers, even though they don't look like too much work to handle. They definitely can be. And another vault spells once over towards the Z wall, but I was about to say we're going to be going down. I've been sorely mistaken. There's no way he runs in for power as well after that, right? Please tell me I'm wrong.
Oh,
No, stop. Please. You got this, Burke. You got this. Even if you just run out of the power and just walk him down with the M1, surely. I can't watch. Oh, no, stop. Peaches. There's no way I'm seeing what I'm seeing right now. Oh, he's lost the power. Oh, he's up 2. Oh, they gotta get out. No, it's ugly. Oh, now Genstrix is just hauling us towards the likes of 3. Has his pal? He sent it. He didn't use it. He sent it. Oh my God. Again, Burke getting a little bit antsy here. Yeah, I'd be angry too. Slapping the wood there, and even going for the door or the other door. Our V player going to be winning that 50. Genstrix, he's played an amazing series right now. He's just going to be playing that check spot around the long wall. Thomas, obviously the MVP.
Oh.
And what? Oh my God! Hang on. So we were anticipating that obviously the killer would come around the long wall and we'd corner juke him, but that's just not going to work. And we're even stopping for blood ward, and even though I'm pretty sure that's not allowed. So surely we just stop and get out. Trust me, it's not the pubs. You're
Wait,
safe.
no.
No.
He has a plan. Okay, never mind. Okay, never mind.
You gotta leave. Get out.
I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting Thomas to put lights on there on purpose.